Welcome to the Look Good Move Well podcast.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Happy December, wherever you are. And if you're down under and the sun is shining and it's summertime, then gosh, I am envious because it is chilly and rainy. And last night we got lightning.
I know. That was an intense storm.
It was intense.
Yeah, my kids were like, what is happening?
It was actually hilarious. We were walking out. It was my brother's birthday celebration dinner. We're walking out of dinner, and he sort of says, like, gosh, what happened to the weather? Like, we were supposed to get this big, storm. And we're like, oh, yeah, it didn't really come through. And then, like, within 3 seconds, there was a flash of lightning, and it started raining. I was like,
hilarious.
whoa, dude. Like, that
easy.
was some powerful mojo you just dropped on all of us.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to review a year of functional bodybuilding. What has been the year, the 2023 year of functional bodybuilding? What have we learned? What has changed? And what's been the same?
Yeah.
And so do you have any, just as a quick banter topic, anything that like jumps out at you as top memory of the year?
Oh, well, for sure. My top memory is getting my first strict muscle up.
Oh, yes. That was so awesome.
Because that was a goal that I had set out for myself.
Yeah.
But in fact, that was the only one that I have accomplished to date.
Yeah.
So I'm still very much on the journey.
Yes, you are. But I have to say, what I saw you doing today was some of the best, most controlled work I've seen you do.
Oh, thanks.
It was really, I watch you work hard at these things time and time again. And, periodically it's very evident that there's been like a growth that you've had in something.
Yeah.
I think the last I saw was you doing jerks, and I was like, wow, I haven't seen you do that because we've just not had that day in common.
Right.
And that was really impressive to see. And remembering when I was coaching you on the jerk blocks, 4 years ago and trying to get you to stop lunging forward. And it was like, wow, she knows what she's doing these days.
I never feel like I know what I'm doing, but I do look back and I see the progress over the long term.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the things that I thought would be interesting just to give our perspective on a little bit, maybe to sprinkle throughout this conversation, is that sometimes with fitness, people are very focused on short-term results.
Yeah.
And we're in this for the long haul. And so having that perspective, I think, is valuable to see the lens of the long-term view.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of my highlight.
Yeah.
What jumps out at me, I would say probably at least, I don't know. What comes to mind is I'm over here, I'm seeing Nate behind the camera, and I'm just, I think watching Nate's journey this year with his health and fitness has been a major highlight for me. We do so much work with clients all over the world, with our online training programs, and I talk to a lot of people through a camera, but I get to see Nate, many days a week. We both get to, and I've gotten to watch him commit to his fitness and his health and fitness in a way that has really been just meaningful and really inspiring to see. And I'm super proud of everything you've done this year, and what small or large part that I've gotten to take in it has been really felt amazing. And so, yeah, that's sort of near and dear to me every time that I see him on the dip bar and he's doing a little bit more than last time.
I know.
Nate, just for your information, I mean, he started out maybe not even being able to do a bodyweight dip at all this year and relying heavily on the bands and doing weighted dips with 15, 20, 30 pounds, EMOMs, getting strong. Now he's tackling pull-ups in a similar fashion. And one thing that's it always gets me is, Nate is he's quite strong, and I'll be training and he'll be filming training sometimes, and I'll be like on my third working set of something after I've done warm-ups, and he'll just come over and cold deadlift my barbell. I was like,
it's hilarious,
bro. I was feeling good, and then I just saw you just do that, and now I'm like,
thanks.
wait, maybe I need to step on my game. So anyway, shout out to Nate for sure.
Yeah. Well, in a little bit of our year in review, I wanted to ask you how your perspective on functional bodybuilding has evolved as you've been writing training programs for this past year for Persist and for everything else that we do here at Functional Bodybuilding, and what stands out to you is what you have learned in training, because I know you're always paying attention to these things and learning.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a secret. I mean, I've talked about it a lot here on the podcast and places, but 2023 was a year of me really, and it continues to be a year of me exploring training, really in a very different way than I have in the past decade.
Yeah.
When I got introduced to CrossFit, I think 2009, there were probably 13 years that followed where training did not feel complete unless I had come in and done something that we would consider strength, and then done something that I would consider conditioning in the same kind of, the same workout, the same day,
Sure.
same session. And because they both became extremely, I started to recognize the value of doing them. I always knew that like conditioning or cardio was important. I knew that weight training was important. But to experience putting them together was such an eye-opener for so many people, myself included. And then spending 10 years really trying to understand what is the best way to put them together, the smartest way, both from an efficacy standpoint, safety standpoint, time efficiency standpoint, for a variety of goals too. Like how do you do it if you want to really build more muscle? How do you want to do it if you want to improve your performance by the measurements that we used in CrossFit? Like, so just a deep dive. And, what also I've learned is that over those 12 years or 13, let's be like really specific. In 2009, I started this. 2022 to 2022. So that's 13 years. 13 years of doing that. Guess what? I got 13 years older.
Yeah.
And I had 13 years more life experience, 13 years more of life responsibility, just more. And that doesn't mean that my body is not capable of doing the things that I did when I was 27, 26. It just means that what I was capable of doing at 27, 26 was in the context of my life then, which was very much skewed towards fitness as the priority.
Mm-hmm.
Now at 39, could I wake up, if I had the same schedule that I had when I was 26, wake up tomorrow, could I still do it? I think very confidently I can say yes. I could go and I could train as many hours. I could coach group class. I could, but I don't have kids. I don't have I don't even have a wife. Like I don't have a business. Like if I was, age is not the thing that has changed. It's the context of life.
Yeah.
So all of that has taught me so many things about like, well, what does fitness need to accomplish for me and for others? It needs to be a place, our training. It needs to be a place where we can come and we can safely execute high intensity and then move on with the rest of our day.
Yeah.
Safely execute high intensity to a degree that does not kill the rest of your day.
Yeah.
The rest of your life.
Yep.
At 26 years old, I could go super hard. I could take a little bit more risks and for more hours of the day, because I didn't have as much waiting for me on the end of training to go and pursue and engage with. And so functional bodybuilding at 27 years old would look differently than functional bodybuilding that's appropriate for Marcus Filly at 39 years old.
Right.
And again, it's not because the needs or the methods or how we approach fitness is different. It's what's waiting for you at the end of your training, and what do you have leading right up to the beginning of your training. And people who are professionals and who really dedicate a lot of time to their fitness, they protect those hours outside of the gym to make sure that they can give as much as they can in the gym.
Yeah.
So that was a long-winded way of saying this year I really took a leap to say, okay, I'm going to try segmenting my training where I'm going to go into the gym and it's going to be about lifting weights and getting the most out of my resistance training. And then when I'm outside of the gym, I'm going to go and move my body and kind of keep my cardio up and keep moving.
Yeah.
And I gave myself a challenge of saying, actually, I'm not going to do any like super hard cardio. I'm going to keep it really moderate. I'm going to walk and I'm going to ruck. And I got a little aggressive on the walking and the rucking. Of course, Marcus.
Of course.
Theme of my life.
Right.
Oh, this works. Let's do more of it.
A lot more.
A lot more. There was a month in the summer where I think I averaged 22,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
I got a lot of GoRuck packs in my trunk, and I'm just, anytime someone's like, I want to go with you, I'm like, I'm ready for you. But yeah, so I think in looking at training, I was like, okay, well, what are, it's, this year has helped me get crystal clear on like, what are the things that fundamentally we need out of training?
Yeah.
And because if we check those boxes, then we can move on with our lives and approach other aspects of our lives with as much, focus and energy and joy and excitement as we want to bring to them.
Yeah.
And I've learned through making mistakes.
Yeah.
As is my cycle, I always overdo things. I did too much. Even in dialing things back to change my approach, I did too much. Walking 18,000 steps a day on average for an entire year, it's too much. It's not necessary. It's overkill. And and 5 days of hard resistance training for me right now. I tried that for 8 months of this year, and I'm down to 4.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I can. That's my sweet spot right now.
Right.
So, and I'm still getting, all my needs met, fitness wise. I'm just not pushing beyond, which is that's a big takeaway and lesson about functional bodybuilding, about fitness, and about giving people what they need. And when they desire to like seek more and do more, which is a part of our, we all want to grow. We all want to like be able to experience growth as a need. Just be prepared to sort of know that you're going to try and push it too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask what you've learned about people, our athletes, or what they go through, or their mentality, or.
Yeah. I mean, I think the mentality that I have kind of gotten through conversations with, our members and clients and followers is, people want to know that they're doing enough.
Yes.
And there's a lot more fear around not getting it done than I ever anticipated. It's like, I don't want to not get the thing done.
Right.
And it's kind of made me like, it's, if I think really far back, it's why people would get pissed when class would run over 60 minutes back in the CrossFit days.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're not quite done. Like we're going to go over by 10 minutes. They're just like, what the, like, this is terrible. Like I had 60 minutes. That's all I had. And I didn't get all the work done. You're telling me that to be fit or to get to my goals, I needed an extra 10 minutes, but I don't have that. And it makes me so upset. And it makes me feel like I'm going to miss out on what I can actually accomplish, what I can do for myself.
That's right.
And it's like, I mean, I'm looking at my watch right now and it says I've only had 7,000 steps today. Only had 7,000 steps. That's my language. And I'm like, God, for months, I'd be at 15,000 steps by this point.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I'm not doing it. Oh, so you built up this story is getting built for people that, hey, you got to do this much to have success. And it's like the psychology that I'm trying to think about with training people and writing programs or just educating people on fitness is like, let me try my best to show you how little you need to do to be successful. Greg O'Gallagher is the Kino body. He's a, he's very outspoken on some like controversial topics or things that kind of like get people triggered and but he also has this like really core group of followers that just love everything he puts out. And I think he skews very heavily to the male audience, but either way, he is who he is. He's got this thing that he's been talking about this year, which is, it's like, I think it's called like Lazy Jacked or I don't know. It's like his Lazy Jack program or it's something like that. It's like, basically like it's like, get on my program. You just follow my nutrition. You do 2 heavy lifts a week. You walk 10,000 steps a day and you're good. And you get jacked.
Yeah.
And there's like tons of truth to that. It's like, I mean, granted, he built up a really great physique and base of muscle over a couple decades, but it's like at this point, I could probably get away with, two really good full body workouts a week, eating pretty darn perfectly, getting in my steps every day. And I would, I'd be able to, and somebody who's like relatively deconditioned or on the newbie, like they could do the same thing and they could see big gains. It's like, it comes back to like, what can you do repeatedly, consistently, and then really be sure that like, you're not just pulling movement levers, you're pulling diet levers and you're pulling lifestyle levers too, which, okay, let's get everyone really clear. Like that's what you need.
Yeah. And
therefore, if you miss part of the full comprehensive, plan that's out there, all you're doing is skipping dessert. You're not skipping the steak. You're not skipping the main meal. You're getting all those things.
Yeah.
So that is a very important psychological aspect of fitness and coaching that just is, I think, is hard to sell. I guess he's trying to find a way to do it. It's like, hey, like, be a lazy Jack program, whatever it is. But I think people see like, oh yeah, like you just told me I just need to drink water and walk and do some push-ups and I'm going to be good. Like,
right.
But what are all these other thousands of people telling me I got to do this and that and this and that and this and that? It's like they're being kind of seduced into that.
Yeah.
I got to do more. I got to do more.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of our marketing message that we have sent out recently, which was around, if you're busy during the holidays, you really only need to work out a few times per week. You don't have to be in the gym 5 days or even 4 days, maybe even 2 to 3 can be adequate, but you have to work hard in those sessions and you have to make sure that you bring intensity safely, as you were saying.
Yeah.
And I think something that I've learned a lot for myself, and I think that I've been puzzling over how best to help other people learn this as well with our programs and with our marketing, is that it's very difficult to understand fully how hard you need to work for it to be effective. And it's like, it's not necessarily about the frequency or about the box checking and getting every part of your workout done, but it's about learning what intensity really feels like and how to do that safely, even if you're not doing it all the time.
For real, yeah. Oh gosh, that hits home because I'm just thinking about like people who are getting in there and they're either getting into the gym regularly, but they're so worried about, am I doing the form right? They don't have the confidence in the movements, in the style of training that they're doing. They're sort of like looking around like, am I doing this machine correctly? Is anybody watching me? All of those are just like, you cannot give the effort required when you have all those thoughts going through your head.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter that you're getting there 5 days a week because you're not even doing the work.
Yeah. Effort
and intensity have been such a hot topic this year and in all of the fitness media landscape. You know, Mike Metzer is this coach who's former bodybuilder coach. He passed away a number of years ago, but he's become well known as like this, like one of the godfathers of like high intensity training where you like one set all out,
right,
max till blood's coming out of your eyes and your ears, that's all you need. And he would train like each body part like once every like 10 days kind of thing. And when I'm talking about intensity and effort, I'm not even talking about that.
Yeah.
Like you have to be a special, unique breed of person to be able to even tap into that level of intensity. But that's not required. And that's not what those people who I just referenced who are nervous or fearful. It's like, I'm thinking about my mom. It's like she wants to come in and like move her body, but she's afraid to like push it too hard. And therefore she might never get close to the intensity that's required to really I'm not talking like she needs to get jacked at 70, but like, no, she needs to like keep her muscle strong and get stronger. Like,
build
and truly
bones and
like, and so, because like even today, you know, on my training session with Andrew it was so simple. We did 2 supersets back to back. We did a couple other little extra like things at the end, but like it was 2 supersets with 4 sets of each exercise. And we pushed each other hard and we went really hard on every set. And I wasn't even halfway through the second superset and I was like, I don't feel right. Like I'm feeling, feeling wobbly, you know, like this. So it's not about like how much you're doing. There's a serious impact of effort and intensity, and that theme of like expressing intensity safely or safely expressing intensity is such a guiding principle for me. And looking at all of the training that we create and that people do, I want you to be safe up to the point, you know, that you can tap into that intensity.
Yeah.
And what you do in this session should make you feel more safe in the next session. And what you do in the next session or for the next month should make you feel like you're even more safe and secure to push intensely. Like each time you do the thing, you get more confident that you can actually, okay, now I know what my limit is. Oh, I'm going to push a little bit further. And so that carries over to like why I find it's important to be a good record keeper when you're in the gym.
Yes.
Why is progressive overload an important concept? Because when you progress or you overload your system, that's why you get change. Well, how do you even do that? Well, you first have to start by knowing where you're at. How many reps did you do for 10 on the goblet squat? You did, you know, or how much weight? You did 50 pounds for 10? Sweet. Next time you're in the gym, you're doing 12 reps or 11 or 12 reps, or you're going up to the 55 pounder.
Yep.
You got to do one of the two. What's it going to be? It's like, no, I just want to I really want to get confident with this one. Then get confident with it. Stop fucking around. Like today's the day. Get confident with 50. Was that hard? Yeah, it was hard. Not hard enough. Next time we're doing 55. You know you can do it. It's 5 more pounds. It's not going to break you in half.
Right.
Like you're safe, secure, push intensely, right? And then it's like, well, hey, let's do some strength balance exercises. Strength balance exercises, that's just a term we're using in functional bodybuilding. To me, effort's not the guiding principle there.
Right.
We have strength intensity sections of training where we really promote intensity. But strength balance, it's like these are your exercises today that you should feel very safe, very confident, but you're working on something that's going to provide you tools to go heavier on your back squats next week.
Yeah.
We're going to do a single leg knee over toe split squat. That is going to help open up your ankles, your hips, your knees. It's going to get you length in your hip flexors. It's going to help build connective tissue strength, stability, all those things. And you don't need to go maxing out intensity on that to get those benefits. But the purpose of that is now when you come back next week, you're more stable, you're more confident, you're more secure, you're feeling safer, and you can push that much harder on the leg press.
Yep.
Because that's where you're going to really be able to do that progressive overload. And then it's like, okay, well, what does a warm-up have to entail? It has to entail just enough to make you feel ready to take on that first intense piece of training. You know, why is a cool down important? Because that's where you're going to get the most soft tissue change that will actually open up positions that will get you ready for more dips. You know, I'm looking at Nate because he needs to hang from the pull-up bar more often after training to get his shoulder feeling super good so that he doesn't stop before his last set of dips, which he had today.
Yeah.
He did the first 3 sets and he was like, I kind of called it because I'm feeling a little worried about my shoulder and I don't want to push it. I'm not saying that's the wrong decision. That was the right decision. But then the question he needs to ask is, what do I need to do between now and next week so that I don't have to skip number 4, set number 4?
Yeah.
Because that's probably where he's going to make the biggest growth.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, by doing less in the gym, you get more and more crystal clear about how important that concept is. You got 10 exercises you got to check off on your list today. You're not going to get that focused on each one.
Right.
If you have 4 exercises that you're doing today, like, Andrew, all we got is 2 supersets. We got to get it. I got to get it now.
Yeah.
All of this. Honestly, like the last 2 exercises we did, take it or leave it. They did not move the needle for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was just like me in a dream state. Like, why am I even here? You know? So you don't need a ton. You need effort. You need to know how to, or you need to appreciate that every part of the functional bodybuilding system is designed to get you to be able to do the effort over and over and over again in a safe way.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I would really encourage people to be thinking athletes and look over their past year of training and see what you can learn and take away that will help you going forward and not just get stuck in the doing the same thing over and over trap.
For real. Yeah. And if you, in your reflections, you come across something that is a question or an uncertainty, or, hey, I'm not sure if I'm headed in the right direction, or maybe you have a question about like what could be your direction for the coming year.
Yeah.
Those would be awesome questions for us to field in January to help give guidance to you and to anybody else listening that has a similar question, which is probably a lot of people. So this is your notice. Get into Instagram DMs and message Marcus Philly or Satya Khan and let us know, hey, this is something I'm struggling with, or I'd like to think about. I want some advice or guidance for 2024, and we'd love to support you.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a great rest of your day, wherever you are. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we'll see you.